Well, good morning, good afternoon, or happy hour somewhere, wherever you're watching this, whatever time it is, wherever you're at in the world. My name is Dr. DéRecco Lynch, and I serve as the Assistant Vice Provost for Enrollment Management here at the University of Cincinnati. And I am excited to talk to you all about Beyoncé energy meets big tech strategy. Thinking through how we turn the work that we do in admissions or any office into fan engagement for the students that we're serving. So I'm super geeked to talk to you all about a lot of the work we're doing. And again, welcome to this YouTube channel. The reason I created this channel is simple. Not everybody can afford professional development. Not all of our conference proposals get accepted at our conferences. So I said to myself, let me just present to the world, and whoever wants to tap in can tap in, but we don't always need a large stage to get out the work that we want to do. So excited you're here. So before you start texting, Teamsing, Slacking, or checking your email, or that ADHD kicks in, I just simply want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for being curious. I love curious people, and the fact that you're here means you're a curious person as well. So just thank you for checking out this presentation today. A little bit more about who I am. Again, Dr. DéRecco Lynch, Assistant Vice Provost here at the University of Cincinnati, overseeing all things central admissions across our three campuses, Uptown, Claremont, and Blue Ash, and all things central admissions from recruitment, marketing, operations, events, systems, all of the things that you could possibly think about. I have spent a lot of time in higher ed, 15 plus years. I've worked at the Ivies, HBCUs, large public system schools, and then I got tired of higher ed just a little bit. So I wanted to make a jump. So I became an engineer at Salesforce, and that's really where I saw the art of the possible. Because even though I was an engineer by day, I was their HBCU engagement officer by night. And through that work, I got to create their HBCU go-to-market strategy. In addition to that, I got to partner with companies like Netflix, Disney, the Olympics, Arizona State University, and beyond, and really saw how these corporations are driving fan engagement at scale, how they're building brand loyalty. And I got so obsessed and so excited with this work that I said, you know what? Maybe I should go back to higher ed and figure out how we can adopt some of this work that our industries and corporations are doing so that we can better serve the students that we're trying to recruit and retain, or the alumni that we're trying to get to give back to our institutions. So I am obsessed with all things fan engagement, operationalizing things, and really driving global impact at scale. But I didn't do all of this work that I'm about to talk about today alone. This is also our Director of Marketing and Communications, Crystal. Crystal has been my partner side by side in all of the work that we're going to talk about later today. And I also just have to give another shout out to our friends in Central Marketing, Ashley, as well as our friends in University of Cincinnati Online, Joe and Julie. Again, I'm here to raise all of the work that we're doing, but we have some brilliant people and brilliant leaders at the table helping us drive this work. So now let's hop in. Right off rip, I want to give you just a little bit of context on the University of Cincinnati. So first, the University of Cincinnati used to be a commuter school, meaning students came and they left, and we didn't have this huge residential campus. In addition to that, our academic profile was a little bit leaning towards open access versus competitive. But what we've done over the past 20 plus years was truly transform who we are as an institution. If you don't know, we are the inventors of co-op and experiential learning. So that's what we do best. We integrate experiential learning into everything that we do, from the admissions process and beyond, but giving our students that real co-op experience. We have 14 academic colleges, 500 plus majors, and we sit in the center, in the heart of the city of Cincinnati as well. So that true urban institution feel. when you think about enrollment, we have continuously grown enrollment year after year after year. And to date, we're sitting at about 55,000 plus students, and we're expecting the largest freshman class in the history of the University of Cincinnati this upcoming fall. So we're excited, we're doing the growth, and we continue to see momentum. We continue to build residence halls, and our campus is no longer a commuter campus. It is a true residential campus where we're serving not only the city, but our students. So again, the goal there was to just give you a little bit of context. As far as the city of Cincinnati, we're about 47% white, 40% Black African American, 5% Hispanic, and 4% multiracial. So again, a great diverse city to pull from and to connect from. And if you want to just know a little bit about the enrollment landscape, our goal is to get to 60,000 students by 2030. And when you think about our enrollment landscape and kind of the growth we've been able to see within this, we continue to grow all populations, whether that's Black, Latinx, Asian, or our commitment to Cincinnati public high schools. We continue to see growth at the rate of 26 plus and up across a lot of our specific populations. And of course, as you all know, it's not just about first year, but how are we driving growth for transfer, for graduate, for adult learners, and really thinking through that current student experience. So now let's hop into the juice. So first, you're probably wondering, well, what were the triggering points? Now, you all know I'm up here and we talk about how great everything looks, but I'm going to give you the real, the kind of behind the scenes before we jump into the fun. So there were 3 triggering points. First, there's a new AVP. So I started about 24 months ago. They've reimagined my role. Prior to me being at the University of Cincinnati and returning, there was no transfer center. This role was not over the regional campuses. So they have really beefed up this role and what this role does and the influence that it has. And then you also got to think, I'm coming from Salesforce at the time, as well as coming from the startup world as well. So really bringing that lens with me. Then we hired a new director of marketing. Crystal came with a lot of experience across institutions, corporate, as well as regional campus as well. And that was really, really important for us as well to have that skill set, seeing that we have 3 campuses. And then lastly was we had to release a vision. When I started here, we were the most hated office on campus. We were known as the office of no. We were not collaborative. We barely could retain anyone in our office longer than 6 months. Sense of belonging was at a rate of 20%. It was not good. So we had to rally people around a vision first before we could do anything. And so we released our Bearcats for Life vision. And what is our Bearcats for Life vision? We have 3 pillars. First, our goal is to create UC fans. I don't care if no one never enrolls again, but what I do care about is how many people can I make fall in love with the University of Cincinnati, even if they don't enroll. Because the more UC fans we can create, the more tweets we get, the more opportunities we get, the more our story is being told without us having to do all the heavy lifting. So within Central Admissions, our job is not just to recruit the whole family, because we should be recruiting the whole family. Little sister can be taking CCP classes. Little brother can be a freshman. Your cousin in China can come over as a transfer international student, and mom can go back and get her MBA because she's crushing it at work. So first, yes, we want to recruit the whole family. But second, we want to create fans at scale. We want staff to fall in love. We want current students to fall in love. We want to build that brand affinity. Number 2 is employee success. And this is where Salesforce taught me a lot. Why? Because Salesforce has been voted the number 1 place to work at for years. And what I realize is, because I don't know about now, I'm not in the matrix, but when I was there, they invested in their employees' happiness. And what I mean by that is you didn't just get thrown into a job. You had the tools to make sure you were successful. They invested in well-being. They invest in pay. They figured out that, hey, if we can make our employees happy, our employees will go sell and be great. I wanted to bring that same mindset to Central Admissions. So my goal is to make Central Admissions the #1 place to work at on campus. How do we focus on culture? How do we make work lighter? Because we're all going through things outside of work. And when people come into work, they don't want to hate their job. I don't want people to have the Monday blues. So we spent a lot of time really focusing on how can we make the culture better. And then lastly, we don't do this work alone. Everything that we do depends on the rest of campus and our community. So our #3 pillar was college and community engagement. How can we partner with the colleges better? How can we partner with student affairs, finance, academic affairs, as well as the city of Cincinnati and beyond? So these were the 3 pillars, and this was the Bearcats for Life vision that we were able to wrap everybody around and rally folks around to get excited. So then, yes, we created the vision, but then we had to operationalize this. And feel free to scan this barcode. And when I presented this the first time, we were actually at Disney Springs. So it was funny to talk about the magic, the Disney magic. That is what we built into our Bearcats playbook. We said, hey, we're not throwing people in rows. We're not just going to walk around with all of these unhidden expectations. We are going to create the Bearcats playbook that fills in all the gray so that our team can be high performing and go serve the students and families and communities that they are excited to serve. But if we're constantly figuring out, well, who's in charge? How do we make a decision? How do we pitch up something new to leadership? We're spending time trying to figure out how to do the work, and we're not really doing the work. So we created the Bearcats playbook, again, that provides, this is how we do business. This is how we're high performing. And here is how we're going to go create Disney magic. Whether that's Disney magic in how we review applications, whether that's Disney magic inside the student perspective portal, whether that's Disney magic out recruiting students at high schools, whether that's Disney magic at our community colleges, meeting with transfer students. We wanted to think through, how do we add Disney magic to everything? So now the fun part, let's talk a little bit about the inspirations. So first, if you don't know Beyoncé, Beyoncé is the visuals, baby, as she would say. One thing that we appreciate, or one thing that I've studied about Beyoncé was, first, I remember in the 6th grade when Beyoncé said, do not put me in a genre. I want to be a genre-less artist. You can't put me in a box and tell me what to do. So one, I've always appreciated her brand and pushing the norm and not staying in the box. Another thing is Beyoncé doesn't tell you what she's going to do. She's all about big moments of surprise and keeping people on the edge and releasing stuff on her time and her terms. And then she partners strategically with companies that will continue to elevate her brand. So then there is Steve Jobs. And I love Apple. I used to work at the Apple retail store as well. And every single detail, even down to the plastic that Apple picks, when you unravel your phone, it makes a certain noise to give you a dopamine hit, right? Apple is constantly thinking through their customer experience, their brand, and how their products change the world. Because they're not just products. They're products here to change the world. In addition to that, anytime Steve Jobs or Apple releases something new, they don't just send an email. They don't just send a PDF. They have a moment. They have a keynote. They rally people around whatever it is they're releasing. And then if you don't know, Marc Benioff and Salesforce, they are a marketing machine when it comes to marketing the work that they do and just really integrating Salesforce through all of the ecosystem of technology in the world of CRM. So Salesforce is a great marketing machine. So that's giving you the baseline of some of those foundational items. Why is this important? We have to change how we do business. We have to. Times Magazine just wrote an article 14 days ago about how higher ed is being forced to change their business model. And we have to, because we're no longer competing with each other. If corporations can skill up students in 6 weeks faster than what we can in 4 years, there's a true disconnect there. And we know that trust continues to sink within higher ed as well. So we don't have a relevance, we don't have an awareness problem, we have a relevance problem, and we got to start making sure people understand the value that we deliver to the world. And in addition to that, students don't choose a school with the most ads. Students want to feel connected and they want to belong. And keep this in mind. If you're a student, or if you can order a $10 taco on DoorDash, watch the taco be made, watch the taco be packaged, watch the taco be packed up, watch the driver drive the taco to your house, and then watch it get delivered to you in real time for $10. Well, if a student is paying $60,000 a year for tuition, they have no clue where their transcripts are at. They haven't heard back from that advisor. They're on hold too long. The experience they're experiencing outside of our four walls is something they're going to start to expect a return on their investment. They want to see their process and they want to be connected to the institution. So we really have to start thinking through maximizing and enhancing that student experience. So the fun part. So real quick, the unsexy part. So how did we get here? The fun. So when I got back to UC, I got off the plane. I'm walking through the airport and I'm gonna be honest with you. I looked around and I'm like, did I land in Columbus? Because everywhere there was nothing but Ohio State stuff throughout our whole airport, the Cincinnati airport. So then I get in my Uber, I'm driving on the interstate, and all I see is billboards for Ohio University and Miami University. And I'm like, maybe I landed in the wrong city. I can't be in the city of Cincinnati. We get in the city, and I'm still not seeing our brand. And this wasn't to say this was anybody's fault. I wasn't worried about fault or why. I just know that we did not see our brand present throughout the city. And as the staple of the city and the premier institution of the city of Cincinnati, we deserve to make sure our community knows that we are here. So I walked into Central Marketing and I said, Ashley, can we please take this city back? How can we take this city back? And again, it wasn't about going into Central Marketing and pointing blame and saying, well, why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we doing that? I just had one question. How can we take this city back? Central Marketing said, let's do it. Then we had a new VP in the university online space. I went to her and I said, hey, Julie, can we take this city back? Julie and Joanne said, let's do it. So we did the work first because, as you can imagine, new AVP, new VP coming in to a landscape that is different. Our three offices were not used to collaborating at that scale. So first, we did the work that we needed to do to make sure we were aligned in where we were trying to go. And that's where we get to the fun. So as I shared with you all, we didn't just create a vision and send a PDF and a memo via email. We treated our vision like a product day, truly channeling Steve Jobs and Marc Benioff. We released it to campus. We treated campus to breakfast, to lunch. We gave them swag, and we rallied everyone around this vision. We also used this as an opportunity to get feedback from campus around how we can make this vision better. And then we created an interactive web page, again, so campus could interact with our vision, see where we're headed, see the metrics in real time, see the data in real time. PDFs, Again, how do you get people involved and excited about your vision beyond just reading it in an email? So that was the first thing we did. And if you don't know about Marc Benioff, when Salesforce first started in the beginning, I'm sure some of you all, but for my Gen Zers, you may not remember this, but we actually used to have to put a CD in to download software. And Salesforce was one of the first companies that was on the cloud. So their mascot, the no software mascot, would just show up to different Google events, different Illusion events, but would pretty much go to competitors who were still selling CDs and just disrupt their conference, disrupt their product launch. And yes, people thought this was crazy, but it gave Salesforce the type of momentum that they needed to spread their brand. So we tapped into that. Our team, Central Marketing, UCO, Central Admissions, came together and we took over every bus in Cincinnati. That was the first disruption. Imagine a city waking up to red and black buses all over the city. Red and black bus stops as well. So this was the beginning of us saying, hey, we're here and we're ready to take over. And it created a moment of buzz for us to really start to do our rollout within the market. Another thing that we did was we bought one of the largest billboards here in the city of Cincinnati. And even though Central Marketing could have designed it, my team could have designed it, UCO, they could have designed it, Central Marketing, and we were all talking and we said, hey, why don't we partner with athletics, who creates fan engagement all the time, to design this billboard for us? Anybody who's on a marketing team knows, like, hey, excuse me, our graphic designers don't play. They are sensitive about designing for their teams. But our graphic designers were completely open to this, and athletics came in and killed the game. Alumni was super excited, tweeting about this billboard. People were stopping and taking pictures at the billboard. The billboard became so popular that they put the merchandise in stores. And at one point, there was a petition because we sold out of all of the merchandise. But this was such an excited moment for alumni, for students, and for prospective students, because again, we were letting the city of Cincinnati know we are here. But it wasn't just about big moments in the city. It was also about how we talk to our students. So we partnered with the vendor and we did research of our students over 6 to 7 years, and alumni and prospective students funnel. And we created 5 Bearcat personalities. And we communicate to students based off of their personality and where they align at with the Bearcat. And again, this is really channeling Steve Jobs. Why? Because Apple is obsessed with personas. FaceTime isn't about just jumping on a camera to talk to your friend. FaceTime is for the grandmother who's in the hospital sick that wants to see her grandchildren. Or is it the Apple Watch that is for the person that is excited to lose weight and start their health journey? Or is it the iPad that is helping a nonprofit in Africa teach kids how to paint digitally? They're always constantly thinking through their product and the persona. And we wanted to do the same thing. We wanted to talk to students and give students the information they want based off of their personality type. Whether that's the all-day academic that loves studying and been in the library all day, whether that's the Bearcats for Life student, which probably would be me, majoring in good times and fun and sports games, whether it's the energetic achiever, that's your overachiever, your honor student, the under the radar or more chill, low-key student, or the trendy artisan, right? The grit, I'm in the city. So we started talking to our students based off of their personality and where they fall at in our Bearcat family. In addition to that, we also created a Bearcat voice because, as you all know, turnover happens. We didn't want our voice to change when our staff changed. So we also developed the Bearcat digital voice to ensure the tone of our content and our emails is consistent. On top of that, landing pages as well. Each landing page is dedicated to a specific Bearcat personality, and students can change their personality throughout their process. We're constantly surveying them to make sure the content they're getting is the content that's important for them to make a decision. But driving that personalization to ensure the content is being delivered and it's what the student wants to hear. If I'm not interested in joining student orgs right now, why do you keep emailing me about student org when I'm more interested in mental health services or wellness services to help me stay fit and active? So again, really leaning into that persona-based strategy. And then of course, maximizing any big moment that your institution has. When Taylor Swift dropped her album and all of the corporations were dipping into her brand, into the Taylor's era, Taylor was in her Bearcat era. That same week, that same time, she came to a UC football game with, I think now, her husband, Travis Kelce, who's an UC alum. We sent this to all of our students. We built off of that momentum. Yes, to some people on campus, as you all know, it was cringy, but we were building off of the moments, right? We were building off of that national energy that we're getting to interact with students in a different way, but really bringing in that pop culture. Another thing we did, again, channeling Beyoncé and who she partners with, we partnered with FC Cincinnati. Here's the thing, again, working at Salesforce and working for these big brands, you are not going to be able to get into all the places that families and your future customers are in. So how do you partner with ecosystems that have the audience you're looking for that can really tell your story in a way that you can't? So we partnered with FC Cincinnati thanks to University Online. UCO paid for this whole project and, split the bill for this whole project. And then they came back to us and we split all the assets and we started thinking through together, how can we maximize this partnership? Now we host important VIP and prospective events at the stadium. We're doing digital branding during games, during email blasts. We're connecting with the FC global brand and their fans, and they're walking away hearing about the University of Cincinnati. That dad that's at the soccer game that just bought a beer is now getting a cup holder that says, have you thought about your MBA? But figuring out ways to drive fan engagement at scale. So Beyoncé, if you don't know, in 2013, Beyoncé did a surprise drop. Didn't tell Apple, didn't tell her record company. She dropped her album, no promo, and it broke records. Even to the point where at the time, the music industry didn't even release music during that time on a Friday. And after she dropped it, because she broke the record, it changed how the industry releases its music. And I would never forget this day, y'all. I had just graduated from grad school, and I was doing a little Coyote Ugly, on the bar, feeling good, feeling great that we got this master's. And I got a text message that Beyoncé dropped the album. I left my own graduation party to run home and go watch that visual album. And we started to think as a team, how can we create moments of excitement and mystery for our students? So we decided to channel Beyoncé and do a surprise decision day drop. Now, here in the state of Ohio, a lot of us release our decisions during the same week or around the same time. But I said, hey, this year, I want us to be the first to drop decisions, and let's make it a surprise. I know the counselors are probably going to be upset that we've interrupted, class at 2 p.m. on a weekday. But I would rather have counselors been excited and upset that we surprised their students versus counselors are upset that, students didn't get the housing they want or something else that might be not so great. But I was like, this is something that will really surprise and excite students. So we dropped we dropped their decisions days early before the public date. And we didn't just send a letter, we sent a video.
On behalf of the entire Bearcat family, I welcome you to the University of Cincinnati, and I can't wait to see you this fall.
And as you all can imagine, the students were super excited to get a personalized video sent to them, surprising them with their decision. As you can imagine, it broke the internet. It created lots of excitement. Yes, some of my peer schools were absolutely upset at me, but guys, this is a competition. There's not enough students out there for all of us. This is absolutely a competition, but we were so excited to create that magical moment for students. So how is all of this doing? How did our year go? We broke the y-axis. We broke every confirmation record in the history of the University of Cincinnati. And that wasn't all just because of marketing. We reimagined our recruitment team and really trained them like account executives with hearts, right? We want them to be the CEO of their book of business, but we also want them to drive student success. We operationalized our work. We did reorgs. We have truly been doing the work as a team to drive impact at scale. And all of this was to really reclaim Ohio. So you're probably wondering, well, how are you doing in Ohio? We have hit every record and beyond. We're up 12% just here in Cincinnati. 50 miles away from Cincinnati, we're up about 16%. And the rest of Ohio, we're up about 20%. So these moments have really created the type of momentum that we need in the state to drive success. So as you're thinking about your institution, I say a couple things. First, what moments matter? Think about your student journey. Think about your touch points. Where can we just add a little magic, right? Just a little magic to some of these moments as you're engaging with your students. How can you scale your storytelling through partnerships? You will not have the budget or all of the resources to really scale your story. So how do you partner with local partners or big brands to tell your story in a different way? And then lastly, how do we adopt moments from industry? If industry can get 90,000 people aligned around one vision, why can't we align 20 people around our vision? Or how do we have less meetings and focus on more point of views? Again, thinking through your day-to-day work and how you can start to think like a big tech giant in some of the work you do. So it has been a pleasure connecting with you all, talking to you all virtually. Again, thank you for tapping in. I hope to have more conversations like this as well. Feel free to leave a comment, ask a question. Have a great day, you all. Chat soon.